The ulnar nerve divides into a superficial branch and a deep branch. The superficial branch divides into palmar digital nerves for the little finger and typically the ulnar side of the ring finger. The deep branch passes between the hypothenar muscles. To follow it, we'll remove the flexor tendons. The deep branch of the ulnar nerve runs across the palm in front of the interossei. It passes in between the two heads of adductor pollicis. We'll remove the transverse head to reach the most radial of the interossei. The ulnar nerve typically provides sensation to the ulnar half of the back and the front of the hand, and to the little finger and the ulnar half of the ring finger. Of the extrinsic hand muscles, the ulnar nerve supplies only the ulnar half of the flexor digitorum profundus. Of the intrinsic hand muscles, it supplies the hypothenar muscles, all the interossei, adductor pollicis, and the ulnar two lumbricals. Before we move on to look at the skin of the hand, let's briefly review what we've seen of the vessels and nerves. Here's the cephalic vein, the basilic vein, and the antecubital vein. Here's the radial artery in the forearm and at the wrist. The ulnar artery in the forearm and at the wrist. The superficial palmar arch, common digital arteries and digital arteries, and the deep palmar arch. Here's the radial nerve with its deep branch and its superficial branch. Here's the median nerve in the forearm and at the wrist, with its motor branch, the common digital nerves, and digital nerves. Here's the ulnar nerve in the forearm. Here's its dorsal sensory branch. Here's the ulnar nerve at the wrist with its superficial branch and its deep branch. Here's the distribution of the radial nerve, the median nerve, and the ulnar nerve. Last of all, we'll take a look at the skin of the hand and at the fingernails. On the back of the hand, the skin is thin and freely movable. This underlying layer of loose areolar tissue enables the skin to move. When the wrist and the MP joints are extended, the skin is loose and redundant. When they're flexed, it becomes tight. By contrast, the skin on the front of the hand is quite thick and much less movable. It's fixed to the underlying palmar aponeurosis by many strands of tough fibrous tissue. The creases on the palmar skin are lines along which the skin is thinner. The creases act as joints in the skin when the MP joints flex. It's easy to see where the MP joints are when we look at the back of the hand, but because of the way the skin slopes forward in between the bases of the fingers, the position of the MP joints can be a surprise when we're looking from the front of the hand. The MP joints aren't here, they're right back here, in line with the distal palmar skin crease. So fully half the length of the proximal phalanx of each finger lies beneath the skin of the palm. On the fingers, as in the hand, the skin is thin and extensible on the back, thick and deeply creased on the front. Let's take a close look at the specialized skin of the fingertip. The skin of the fingertip contains huge numbers of sensory nerve endings. The pulp of the fingertip is composed of fat interlaced with many fibrous strands, which anchor the skin to the distal phalanx. The fingernail is a hard plate of keratin that's produced by the specialized epithelial cells which lie beneath its base, here. A fold of skin overlaps the edge of the nail and adheres to it closely. We'll remove the skin on one side to see the full extent of the nail. Here's its edge. And we'll take away one half of the nail to see the underlying nail bed or nail matrix. Finally, we'll remove part of the nail bed. Here's the cut edge of the nail bed. It's closely adherent to the underlying distal phalanx. The actual nail-forming tissue is just here. It's the nail-forming tissue that produces this pale area, the lunula, that's visible at the base of many people's nails. That brings us to the end of this tape on the upper extremity. The remaining tapes of the video atlas will be the lower extremity, the trunk, the organs of the thorax and abdomen, and the head and neck.